The year 1922 we might think of with the Jazz Age, the publication of The Great Gatsby, the birth of a new era in the wake of World War I. But in fact in the Middle East, World War I was still playing out in different ways. The end of the Ottoman Empire had left all the countries from Turkey all the way down around the Eastern Mediterranean to Egypt in limbo in terms of their political status. I'm a historian of archaeology in Egypt at this time. I never thought that I'd wind up studying anything about the tomb of Tutankhamun. I'd almost kind of avoided it throughout my professional life because it seemed like, so much had been written about it and it had just become this pop cultural kind of figure. However, I became really interested in the photographs that were taken during the excavation, the 10-year-long excavation of the tomb. Those photographs do several things. They show us the tomb as the excavators worked through it. But of course, every photograph is also a moment in time that's created through what you can do with the camera, what preparations are made beforehand, and then what happens to the photograph afterwards. And it's that afterlife of the photographs, the images from the tomb of Tutankhamun, that really became interesting to me as well. Photographs don't tell the story of Tutankhamun's tomb. They are the story of Tutankhamun's tomb. They are what makes it possible. And that story is one that's always been told from the perspective of the British and the American excavators involved. It's always been a story of Western expertise, of Western power, of Western control over ancient Egypt. So my research on the photographs from the tomb, I think really force us to confront that history of power imbalances and the way that our ideas about ancient Egypt and its art are shaped through the photographs that were created, the choices that were made at that time, and the way those photographs have been used ever since. For instance, Howard Carter and his British colleagues were really interested in emphasizing the artistic qualities of some of the objects found in the tomb. In doing that, they make changes to those objects in terms of, partly to preserve them, but also in terms of how they're physically kind of seen, how they're posed in front of the camera. They remove the textiles that were part of the religious rituals that were absolutely essential to the meaning of those objects and the function of those objects in the tomb. But archaeology undoes all those things. We always have to remember that archaeology is an undoing. It changes what it studies in the course of studying it.